The Odyssey drifted lazily through the void, an island of humanity in a sea of infinite stars. Captain Elias Grant stood on the bridge, gazing through the expansive viewports at the swirling gas clouds and distant suns. He ran a hand through his unruly hair, the tension in his shoulders nodding as he contemplated the mission ahead. "Captain, we're approaching the asteroid cluster," Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, his second-in-command, called out from her station. Her voice broke through Elias's thoughts like a shot from a laser blaster. She turned back to him, her brown eyes sharp with determination. "What's our plan?" Elias turned to her, his brow furrowing. "Let's keep an eye out for any signs of life. We're not just here for rocks. There could be potential settlements or other colonization opportunities. Or hostile aliens," Sarah added with a hint of playful sarcasm. "You know, just to spice things up." Elias chuckled, appreciating her attempt to lighten the mood. "I prefer not to be shot at today, but I appreciate the initiative. Signal the crew to prep for exploration. If we find anything, let's not jump to conclusions." "Understood, Captain." Sarah nodded, returning to her console, fingers flying over the controls. A low rumble echoed through the ship as it navigated the dense asteroid field. The bridge crew murmured amongst themselves, the tension creeping in as they neared the unknown. Elias felt a familiar pull, a mix of curiosity and fear, as they worked through the asteroid debris. "Captain, we're detecting a faint signal coming from the second asteroid on our left," Sarah reported. "It's short and repeating." "Bring it up on the screen," Elias commanded, his heart racing. The visuals shifted, showcasing a jagged rock surface with a glowing light deep within a crevice. The signal pulsed like a heartbeat, resonating in the silence of the ship. "Could be a distress signal," said Engineer Tom Reyes from the engineering station. He joined them on the bridge, eyes widened with interest. "If we take a closer look, we might discover something valuable or dangerous." "Valuable or dangerous? Seems about right." Elias crossed his arms, weighing the options. The potential for discovery tugged at his adventurous spirit. "Captain," Sarah interjected, "it's risky. We have no idea what sent that signal. Let's not forget the stories of the Zelthari. They're known for their intelligence and technology, but they don't always play nice." Elias shifted, caught between caution and curiosity. "That's precisely why I want to check it out. If we're going to make a name for ourselves in this sector, we need to take calculated risks. Tom, prepare the shuttle. We'll take a small team." "You want to go down there?" Tom asked, sounding incredulous. Elias met his gaze. "I'm not sending you down without me. I'll lead. We stick together." Okay. Just give me a second to get the shuttle prepped," Tom replied, moving swiftly to his station. "Sarah, you're with us," Elias continued, outlining his plan. "We need all hands on deck for this. The rest of you stay here and monitor communications." "Yes, sir," Sarah said, her excitement barely contained. "Let's hope for some friendly aliens." A few minutes later, the shuttle Artemis was ready for launch. It was compact but equipped for exploration, a few seats, basic scientific instruments, and enough storage for samples they might collect. "Let's make this quick," Elias urged as he checked the equipment. "We don't want to overstay our welcome." The three settled in, buckling up as Tom initiated the launch sequence. The shuttle broke away from Odyssey and descended through the asteroid field, weaving between massive chunks of rock that floated like ancient giants. Clearing the first pass, Tom said, his voice steady even as he guided the shuttle between two asteroids. Switching to manual control. "Careful, don't get too close," Sarah warned, peering out the small viewport. "I can hear them creaking. It's like they're constipated or something." Elias chuckled. "Now that's a description I'll never forget." After some tense moments, they approached the source of the signal, navigating into a small cavern created by two massive asteroids. The glow intensified, illuminating the walls in shades of eerie green and blue. "Touching down now," Tom announced, slowing the ship as they settled on the rocky surface. Once they disembarked, the eerie silence wrapped around them like a shroud. The signal was stronger now, a rhythmic pulse vibrating through the ground under their feet. "Do you feel that?" Sarah asked, darting her gaze around. "It's almost like it's alive." Elias nodded, feeling the pulse echo in his chest. They approached the source, and Tom bent down to examine a circular device embedded in the ground. It shimmered under his touch, revealing ancient symbols. Looks like some kind of console, Tom said, his brows furrowed in concentration. But I can't decipher any of this. I think it's sending signals, Elias said, stepping back to get a better view. Maybe it functions as a communication device of some sort. Or a trap, Sarah countered, crossing her arms. Let's not just poke it. Let's see if we can activate it. Maybe it'll help us communicate or clue us in on what happened here, Elias said, interlacing his fingers, determination hardening his voice. With uncertainty lingering, Elias placed his hands on the glowing console. As he concentrated, the lights flickered and the pulsating signal intensified. Nice going. It's lighting up, Tom exclaimed, stepping back slightly. But what does it mean? Elias didn't have the answer, but suddenly the vibrations shifted into clearer patterns, resonating with chimes that echoed through the air. Did you hear that? Sarah's expression shifted from worry to awe. The console projected a holographic image. A star map that pulsed with light, each point illuminating a different cluster of stars, some far beyond their current reach. Is that a map to other systems? Tom wondered aloud, eyes wide with realization. Maybe, said Elias, intrigued, could be worth investigating. It looks like it updates in real time. Before they could ask more questions, a surge of energy emanated from the console, rippling through the air. The lights flickered ominously before stabilizing. Oh great, now we've done it, Tom said, backing away cautiously. Let's just stay calm. The worst thing we can do is panic. Elias took in their surroundings, the atmosphere hanging heavy with suspense. Sarah, keep an eye on the perimeter. I want to know if we're not alone here. Got it. Sarah moved to a vantage point, scanning the shadows within the cavern. Elias continued to focus on the console, feeling the raw potential it exuded. If we can decode this, we might have a way to contact whoever sent this signal. Or we could be waking a sleeping giant. Tom chuckled nervously. Elias shot him a look, half smiling. Let's hope for friendly giants. As the sounds of distant echoes filled the air, Elias couldn't shake off the feeling that whatever lay ahead was bigger than just a simple discovery. This was the beginning of something unprecedented. A venture that could redefine their understanding of alien life, perhaps even the universe itself. But as they stood on the precipice, the true adventure was only just beginning. Chapter 2. The Encounter. The air in the cavern crackled with anticipation as the holographic star map pulsed with every beat of Elias's heart. After a moment of hesitation, he stepped back, leaving enough space for the others while keeping an eye on the mesmerizing display. What now? Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper as she returned from her lookout spot. Are we sure this is safe? I mean, this place looks like it's been abandoned for ages. Elias took a deep breath. We can't just walk away. This map could lead us to new systems, resources, or even allies. We came here for exploration. Remember? Exploring is one thing, but poking around ancient alien tech is another, Tom said, nervously rubbing the back of his neck. Who knows what that thing can do? Maybe it's harmless, Elias countered, hoping to quell Tom's anxiety. Or maybe it holds the key to understanding the Zelthari. We know so little about them. Sarah leaned closer to the shimmering display. If we can decipher this map, it might give us insights into their culture or technology. We need to try. Elias nodded, appreciating her enthusiasm. Okay, let's break it down. Tom, you're good with technical stuff. Can you analyze the holographic data? I'll give it my best shot, he said, crouching down in front of the console. Just watch my back. As Tom worked, Elias and Sarah exchanged glances, unspoken worries lingering in the air. The pulsating map cast an eerie glow on their faces, illuminating their resolve. Any signs of life? Elias asked, turning his attention back to Sarah. Nothing in the immediate area, she replied, squinting into the darkness. But I can't shake this feeling that we're not alone. It's almost like I can feel someone watching us. Great, just what we need, Tom muttered, distracted as he tapped the console with increasing urgency. Can you two keep it down while I do this? Elias chuckled softly. We'll try not to distract you. Moments turned into what felt like hours as Tom deciphered the shifting patterns on the map. This is definitely more complex than I anticipated, he finally said, his brow furrowed. I've never seen a technology like this. Each point seems to be interconnected. Interconnected how? Sarah leaned closer, her curiosity piqued. It seems like these points represent systems, Tom explained, gesturing at the map. But they also indicate travel routes, potential resources, and even communication frequencies. Wait, this is interesting. There's a blinking light about 100 light years from here. Is that where the signal originated? Elias asked. Possibly, Tom said, excitement creeping into his voice. But we should continue to explore this place first. Maybe it'll give us more information. Before Elias could respond, the atmosphere shifted. A low rumble reverberated through the cavern, sending a shiver down their spines. Did you feel that? Sarah asked, eyes wide. Yeah, Tom replied, standing up straight. He eyed the console warily. This could be the console activating. Anna, let's not mess with it. Suddenly, the glowing symbols on the console intensified, casting flickering shadows around them. With a resounding crack, a hidden door in the cavern wall swung open, revealing a narrow passageway. Elias exchanged glances with his crew, awe mingling with trepidation. Looks like we found an exit or a trap. Well, I'm game if you are, Tom said, excitement lacing his voice. We need to check it out. Let's stay cautious, Sarah warned, gripping her pulse rifle tightly. We don't know what's down there. Agreed, Elias said, his heart racing. Let's move, but stay together. If anything seems off, we pull back. As they ventured into the narrow passage, the glow from the console faded behind them and the atmosphere darkened. The walls of the corridor felt cold and ancient, whispering of long-forgotten histories. With every step, the humming of the console faded, replaced by a haunting silence. Do you hear that? Tom asked, his voice echoing off the walls. Hear what? Sarah replied, straining her ears. It's like footsteps, Tom whispered, glancing around. In the walls. Maybe we should turn back, Sarah said, anxiety creeping into her tone. We can't, we're this far in, Elias said, his leadership instincts kicking in. Let's just move a bit faster. We'll check the area and then decide. They moved in near silence, the corridor winding deeper into darkness. After what felt like an eternity, they entered a large chamber and a breathtaking sight awaited them. The room was vast, filled with towering pillars of shimmering crystal illuminating the space in a spectrum of colors. In the center lay a dais, a circular platform with symbols reminiscent of those on the console. Whoa, Tom breathed, taking a step forward. This is incredible. Is this some kind of ceremonial space? Sarah wondered, captivated. Or maybe a control center? Elias stepped forward cautiously, examining the dais. We should be mindful. This place could still be active. As he reached out to touch the surface, another rumble shook the room and the air crackled with energy. Elias pulled back, heart racing. Maybe we should go, Sarah suggested, looking around anxiously. But before they could leave, a bright flash erupted from the dais, materializing into an ethereal figure, a tall, luminescent being with features that blended softly into the light. The figure radiated warmth and wisdom, exuding an air of authority. Greetings, visitors, it said, its voice melodic and echoing in their minds rather than in the air. I am Vareth, the keeper of the Nexus. Hi. Elias stammered, struggling to find words. We come in peace. Your intent matters more than your words, Captain Elias Grant, Vareth replied, its gaze piercing through him. I have watched you traverse the unknown, drawn by the pulse of the ancient. How's that possible? Tom asked, looking bewildered. The Nexus connects all who seek knowledge, Vareth explained, the light around it shifting. You have awakened a fragment of its essence. Elias took a breath. What does that mean? We didn't mean to disturb anything. Knowing is a disturbance itself, Vareth answered, shimmering slightly. But understanding leads to coexistence. The paths you seek can change fate. Will you accept this responsibility? Wait, Sarah interrupted, her voice gaining strength. What paths? What choice do we have? The stars remember, Vareth said, gesturing to the dais, which now glowed brighter. Choose wisely, for the map you have uncovered holds the destinies of many. What are you saying? Elias asked, stepping closer, the weight of responsibility heavy on him. You have an opportunity to forge alliances or bring conflict, Vareth stated. Accept your role and the knowledge will unfold before you. What if we refuse? Tom asked, glancing at Elias. Refusal is a path of darkness, Vareth replied. But fear not, you are not alone. The choice rests with you. Elias exchanged nervous glances with Sarah and Tom, the magnitude of the moment pressing down on them. Can we think about it? Elias asked, uncertainty edging into his voice. Time is an illusion, Vareth said. But the moment to choose stands before you now. What do we do? Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. Elias took a deep breath, feeling the weight of every decision falling on his shoulders. We move forward. Together. With that, the choice was made. All they had to do was reach out, activate the dais, and embrace whatever came next. Chapter 3. Breaking Barriers. The air in the chamber buzzed with electricity that had nothing to do with the glowing dais. Elias felt every heartbeat thrumming in his ears as Varitha's ethereal presence captivated them. "So, what's the catch?" Tom asked, his voice unsteady but determined. "It sounds like you're asking us to sign up for something we don't even understand." Varitha's form shimmered slightly, its luminescence softening. "Understanding comes through action. You will not be alone in your journey. We will provide guidance, but it is your will that will shape the future." "Guidance? How?" Sarah questioned, her brow knitted in skepticism. "Can you just tell us?" "No," Varith responded, floating closer, the air around it shimmering. "You must first experience it. Step forward, Elias Grant." Elias took a deep breath, glancing back at Tom and Sarah, who nodded in encouragement. With trepidation, he stepped onto the dais. The moment his foot touched the surface, the energy surged through him, igniting something deep within. "Whoa!" he gasped, steadying himself. "I feel alive." "Good." Varitha's voice resonated within the chamber. "Now say your intentions. What do you seek?" Elias hesitated, his mind racing. "We seek knowledge, understanding, and a chance to build relationships. We came here hoping to find more than just charts on a map." The dais pulsed with a brilliant light, and images began swirling in the air above him. A tapestry of worlds, civilizations, and connections. "Those you seek to understand are not mere figures on a chart," Varith said, its voice echoing. "The Zelthari have minds as vast as the cosmos. You can choose to connect or fight. Choose wisely." "I get it. We have options," Elias replied, his curiosity piqued. "But how do we start?" The dais displayed a particular star, pulsating brightly. "This site is significant. It aligns with what you call Earth. You must embark on a journey to understand that which you seek." Sarah stepped forward, her voice firm. "Do we get to choose how to travel? We may not be ready for anything drastic." Varith regarded her with what seemed like understanding. "The paths are multiple, but you will share one. A single ship will not suffice. Allies will be needed." Tom interjected, his excitement infectious. "So we make alliances. We talk to other races." "Yes," Varith replied. "And in doing so, you will discover the mysteries of the universe. However, not all will be willing to listen." Elias felt a rush of adrenaline. "Then let's get to it. We can't waste time." As he stepped back from the dais, Tom and Sarah moved in. The glowing symbols began to dim slightly, awaiting their intentions. "Each of you must now express your goals," Varith encouraged, its form shimmering softly in anticipation. "I want to learn," Sarah said, her voice steady, "to understand different perspectives and help pave the way for communication. There are so many that need to be heard rather than fought." A bright light enveloped her for just a moment before returning to the dais. "What about you, Tom?" Elias asked, watching as the dais dimmed slightly. "I want to know how it all works," Tom declared. "The culture, the technology, everything. If we can talk our way through this rather than blast our way through, that's the path I want." As Tom spoke, the dais flickered brightly, absorbing his words. "Now it's your turn, Elias," Sarah said, her gaze encouraging. Elias took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their expectations. "I want to ensure that we navigate these relationships carefully. I want to lead not with weapons but with understanding. The galaxy can be hostile, but it can also be full of wonders, if we find the right people." The dais erupted with light, casting brilliant colors across the chamber, illuminating their faces and the ancient walls. "Your intentions are clear," Varith said, its voice resonating triumphantly. "Now the journey truly begins." With a snap of its luminescent fingers, a portal materialized in the center of the chamber, shimmering with possibility. "Step through to connect with what lies ahead," Varith instructed. "Be aware that you will face trials, but you will emerge stronger together. I guess there's no backing out now, Tom said, a mix of nerves and excitement in his voice. Let's do this, Sarah replied, stepping closer to the portal. Together, the three looked at one another one last time, a silent agreement forging deeper bonds. They crossed the threshold together, DS. Holy, Tom breathlessly took it all in. This is incredible. Look over there. Sarah pointed toward a settlement in the distance, structures made of glowing material pulsing like the dais. Elias frowned, instinctively scanning their surroundings. We should be cautious. It may not be welcoming. Caution is good, but we also need to make our presence known, Sarah said. We can't just hide ourselves in the shadows. Let's split up, then Tom suggested, eyes gleaming with excitement. Each of us can explore a different area. We'll meet back here in an hour to regroup. Sounds risky, Elias cautioned, but he understood the urge for exploration. But if we're going to do this, let's keep contact. We use the communication devices. Agreed, Sarah affirmed, pulling out her small handheld communicator. We check in every 20 minutes. Okay, let's make this happen, Elias said, forcing confidence into his voice. They separated, each drawn to the allure of the strange landscape. Elias moved toward the settlement, heart racing with anticipation and trepidation. As he approached, he spotted beings in curious, flowing garments with skin that glimmered like sapphires. They buzzed with chatter, their voices a melodic symphony. Here goes nothing, he muttered to himself, stepping closer. One of the beings noticed him, a tall figure with bright green markings tracing intricate patterns across its skin. The creature paused, its eyes narrowing as it regarded Elias. Human, it questioned, a low rumble of interest in its voice. Elias met its gaze, feeling the weight of its scrutiny. Yes. I'm Captain Elias Grant. We come in peace. The being tilted its head, considering his words. Many do not come with peace in their hearts. Why should we trust you? Elias swallowed, searching for the right words. Because I believe understanding is stronger than conflict. We want to learn, not to conquer. The being studied him for a long moment, then stepped back slightly. You seek knowledge, then? Yes. If you can share your culture, your ideals, we can grow from that. Perhaps even form an alliance. Alliance? The being's voice mirrored both intrigue and caution. Come, speak with others. But no, trust comes slowly among my people. As they walked together, Elias felt a mix of hope and uncertainty. He was aware of the challenges ahead but couldn't help but feel they were on the brink of something significant. Meanwhile, in another corner of the settlement, Sarah approached a group of Zelthri children playing. She knelt down, offering a warm smile. Their features were curious, and their chatter ceased as they turned to her. Hi there, she said, holding out a hand in greeting. I'm Sarah. Do you want to show me what you're playing? The children exchanged glances, timid at first. But one small figure stepped forward, placing its glowing hand in hers. Come play. We go fast. With a rush of excitement, Sarah joined the game, laughter filling the air as the children darted around her. Every moment of joy felt like a step toward unity, even if it was small. Farther away, Tom observed a group of Zelthri engaged in artistic expression, intricate paintings decorating the walls of the structures. Eagerly, he approached, a notebook in hand. Wow, this is beautiful, he exclaimed, gesturing toward a mural. Did you create this? A nearby artist turned, expression both serious and curious. Art is a reflection of experience. Why are you here? I want to learn, Tom replied earnestly. Each piece tells a story. Can you share yours? The artist studied Tom, assessing his sincerity. Stories are sacred, but if you wish, I will share one. The three began their explorations, each forging unexpected connections, learning, and building the foundation for something new. As dusk began to fall, the sky turned into a canvas of vibrant colors, mirroring their journey. Elias, Sarah, and Tom had taken their first steps beyond their familiar world, each making advances that would shape their destinies and the universe around them. Together, they were changing the narrative one connection at a time. Chapter 4. The Revelation. The alien settlement hummed with life, colors shifting and sounds melding into a unique rhythm that felt alive and welcoming. Elias, having engaged in conversation with the Zelthri elder, found himself drawn deeper into their culture. It's fascinating, Elias said, leaning against a mural depicting historical events of the Zelthri people. I never imagined your history would be told through such vivid art. The elder, A tall figure with flowing garments and patterns etched in luminescent colors smiled softly. Our stories are as old as the stars, woven into the fabric of our being. Art is our language. It speaks to those who listen. I want to listen, Elias replied earnestly. What do you want us to know? Understanding is born from listening, the elder stated. Our greatest struggle has been with misunderstanding and conflict with outsiders. It leads to war, loss, and pain. Elias felt a pang of guilt. We come from a world where misunderstanding often leads to violence too. That's why I'm here, to bridge that gap. We've seen too much hurt. Show me your intent, the elder said, eyes scanning his face for sincerity. Trust is fragile, especially in a world steeped in shadow. We're not here to take anything from you, Elias assured. We've lost so much ourselves. We believe in connection and collaboration. At that moment, Sarah approached with a group of Zelthri children who were laughing and holding painted stones, their craftwork proudly displayed in vibrant colors. Look what we made, one of the children exclaimed, holding up a rock with swirling patterns. These are for friendship. Elias smiled, his heart warming at the sight. That's wonderful. You're great artists. The elder's expression softened as he observed the children. To see joy in the eyes of the young reminds us of the hope that remains. Exactly, Sarah chimed in. We can create a future worth believing in. At that moment, Tom arrived, excitement radiating from him. Elias, you won't believe what I learned. The Zelthri have a tradition of sharing knowledge with other cultures through gatherings. Elias raised an eyebrow. Gatherings? What's that about? Tom gestured animatedly. It's a way to learn from each other through storytelling, art, and even technology. I think we should organize one, a kind of cultural exchange. The elder nodded slowly, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. That could be a constructive step, but the risk lies in the willingness of both sides to truly listen. Then we'll work on that, Elias affirmed. We can show everyone why it matters to come together. Sarah added, we'll need a plan. How do we set this up? Tom clapped his hands together. Let's divide our tasks. We'll need to gather stories and artworks from both our cultures. This way everyone can see what we've shared. The elder looked at them, considering. You must be patient. Trust builds slowly, especially for those who fear deception. Elias nodded. We understand. We're ready to do the work. We won't rush this. Tom grinned widely. Let's meet back here in a couple of hours to discuss what we've gathered. We can present our own stories, things that represent who we are too. Good idea, Sarah said. And I can talk to the children about their art, they seem excited to share it. As they broke apart, each feeling the exhilaration of purpose, Elias wandered through the settlement, taking in the sights and sounds around him. Walls gleamed with paintings, weaving together stories of time, struggle, and triumph. Hey, Elias, he heard Sarah call from a nearby table. She had gathered a group of kids to help paint more stones. Come help us. He joined her, laughing as the children handed him brushes and stones. What should we create? He asked, kneeling down beside them. Make a pattern that shows earth and sky, one child shouted, her eyes bright. Good idea. Let's show how the two connect, he said, getting to work. As they painted, the camaraderie among them grew, laughter and chatter filling the air. Your colors are so bright, a little boy said, brow furrowed in concentration. Why do you use those? Because colors can express feelings and stories, Elias explained, trying to guide the conversation. Just like how you share your history with art. The children watched him closely, and as they painted, their curiosity began to spark deeper questions about each other's worlds. Do you have animals back home? Another child asked, her brush pausing mid-stroke. Many. Some are small and fly, while others are huge and run, he replied, smiling at their wonder. What about you? Do you have animals here? Yes, one boy piped up. But they are different. They glow. We can ride some of them. What? That sounds amazing. Elias laughed. I'd love to see that. Time flew by as they painted, each brushstroke building connections stronger than words could express. Meanwhile, Tom, immersed in conversations with the older Zelthri, delved into the technology they had used to enhance their agricultural practices. So, you grow your crops using light manipulation? Tom asked, eyes sparking with interest. Yes, replied his Zelthri companion, his voice steady. Our flora absorbs energy from sunlight differently. The key is understanding the cycles of light. How do you work that out? Is it hard? Tom inquired further, deeply engaged. It requires patience and awareness of the world around us. Your people could benefit from this knowledge in ways you cannot yet fathom, the Zelthari responded, folding his hands thoughtfully. Could you help us implement that? Sharing methods like this could improve our yields and even promote cooperation, Tom suggested, jotting down ideas feverishly. Perhaps. But you must understand gratitude and respect for what is shared, the Zelthari warned. Many races enter with greed. We will not be so careless again. Tom looked earnest. We're here to make friends, not take advantage. I promise you that. Back at their gathering point, the three reconvened, eager to share their findings. Looks like we've all had productive moments, Elias said, observing the joyful expressions on their faces. What did you learn? I learned about their ideas on collaboration and sharing knowledge. Tom exclaimed. They have a unique approach to agriculture that could revolutionize our programs back home. I discovered the value of art as a medium for storytelling, Sarah added, her enthusiasm apparent. We can create bonds through creativity. I even painted with the kids. Elias smiled. That's amazing. This cultural exchange could foster deeper understanding. Let's discuss how we can set it up. The elder said the Zelthari could be open to it. A feeling of reassurance enveloped them. Their journey had crossed the first threshold into something larger, forged through shared experiences. Let's meet with the elder and present our ideas, Elias urged. We have to emphasize the importance of learning together. They agreed, and as they walked back to the elder, the sun began to set, bathing the landscape in hues of orange and purple. With every step, they felt the growing weight of their mission, but also the thrill of possibility. Do you think they'll trust us? Sarah asked softly, her brow furrowed. Trust takes time, but we're showing them that we genuinely want to connect, Elias replied confidently. This is just the beginning. Perhaps the beginning of something we all need, Tom added thoughtfully. As they approached the elder, Elias felt a rush of excitement and fear. Standing before the wisdom of the Zelthari, he understood that this was a pivotal moment, one that could change everything for both their peoples. Elder, Elias began, drawing on every ounce of courage, we've come together with new ideas. We seek to organize a gathering where we can exchange stories, art, and technology, allowing our cultures to flourish together. The elder's eyes gleamed, considering their proposal. Your intent is clear, but trust is fragile. Will you promise to learn from us as well? Absolutely, they chorused, voices united. With a nod, the elder replied, then let it be known that the path of sharing begins today. As they stood there, allies united, their hearts beat as one under the broad sky filled with stars, ready to embark on this new journey hand in hand. Chapter 5, The New Dawn. As dawn broke over the alien landscape, the Zelthari settlement began to come alive with activity. Elias, Sarah, and Tom stood at the edge of the gathering area, a mix of nerves and anticipation coursing through them. Are you ready for this? Elias asked, glancing at his friends, who were busy setting up a small stage adorned with various artifacts from Earth. Ready as we'll ever be, Sarah replied, tying a bright cloth to a pole. I still think we should have brought more art supplies for the kids. They loved painting yesterday. Tom grinned, setting down his notebook. Next time, definitely. But today is about sharing our stories and showing respect for each other's cultures. The elder appeared, gliding toward them with a calm certainty that seemed to command attention. Are you prepared for the gathering? Absolutely, Elias responded, straightening his posture. We're eager to share what we've brought. Good, the elder said, nodding approvingly. Before we begin, remind yourselves that stories have power and sharing them can change perspectives. Elias exchanged glances with Sarah and Tom, heartened by the elder's words. They understood this wasn't just a showcase, it was a critical opportunity to bridge two worlds. Let's gather everyone, Sarah suggested, energy coursing through her. The trio moved to invite the Zelthari and other Earth delegates into the main area. The gathering began with interesting exchanges. Zelthari of various ages formed a semicircle, their colorful attire reflecting the morning light. Children giggled and the thrill of newness infused the air. Elias stood at the front, clearing his throat to capture their attention. Welcome, friends and visitors, he began, heart racing. Today we unite to share our stories, our arts, and our experiences. Tom stepped forward, holding up a handcrafted model of a human dwelling. From Earth, this is a small representation of the lives we lead, made by our people. It shows our homes, our neighborhoods. One of the Zelthari, a young woman with striking blue patterns across her face, observed closely. You create such detail. Do your homes bring you comfort? More than you can imagine, Sarah replied, stepping in. Each home tells a story, just like your art. We're here to learn about your stories. 2. The elder's voice boomed, bringing renewed focus. Now we understand the intent behind this gathering. Shall we share our tales? Elias gestured toward the center, where the dais had been prepared. Let's begin. We'll take turns sharing stories and showcasing our artistic expressions. As the morning unfolded, a Zelthari named Kaelin spoke first, detailing her people's history through beautiful, intricate hand movements and imagery projected in the air. Long ago, we faced conflict, a darkness that threatened our very essence, she narrated with passion. But through unity, we discovered the light of knowledge. Art became our salvation. The audience remained entranced by the beauty of both the performance and the story. Elias felt the emotional depth of Kaelin's history resonate with their own experiences of strife and overcoming adversity. Tom leaned closer to Sarah, voice a whisper. This is even more moving than I expected. Next, it was Elias's turn. He fought against the mirthful rhythm of his heartbeat. He stepped forward, his story locked in his mind. As humans, we have our own struggles, too. Our planet has faced wars, suffering, and misunderstandings. He paused, gauging the reaction. But like Kaelin, we discovered that connections matter more than conflict. We've learned through art and collaboration, just as you have. As he spoke, he pulled out a display of photographs showing Earth's landscapes and people. Here are our celebrations, our failings, and our triumphs, moments captured in time. A Zelthari elder interjected, "What binds us, then? If both your people and ours have seen shadows, what can emerge from this light?" Elias felt grounded, sharing stories and looking into the eyes of those around him. It is the commitment to listen, to learn, and to share. We may not have the same experiences, but our emotions unite us. Applause erupted from the gathering, a mix of Zelthari and human voices resonating in harmony. "Let's showcase what we've created," Tom exclaimed, his enthusiasm palpable. He approached a makeshift table where they had displayed the rocks painted by the children, along with drawings made during their time together. "This is our way of sharing," Tom said. "These symbolize friendships and the connections we've forged." A group of Zelthari children stepped forward, eager to present their colorful creations. "We made these for you," one of the youngsters declared, holding up a bright rock depicting a human and a Zelthari embracing. Laughter erupted among the crowd, a joyful sound that echoed through the gathering. "It's a perfect representation," Elias shared, kneeling to meet the children's eyes. "This is what our bond looks like." "Thank you." The Zelthari children beamed with pride, and their joy seemed infectious. As the gathering progressed, Sarah could feel the air shift into a whirlwind of shared enthusiasm. She approached a group of Zelthari artists, their canvases filled with brilliant patterns that seemed to pulse with life. "Do you want to collaborate on an art piece?" Sarah asked, excitedly holding out her own brushes. A Zelthari artist hesitated, glancing at her paintings, still skeptical. "Can you paint as we do?" "I don't know," she replied earnestly, "but I'm willing to learn. That's what this gathering is about, isn't it?" Gradually, the artist joined her, adding vibrant colors that intertwined with Sarah's brush strokes. They painted a mural atop a plinth, combining patterns into something neither had envisioned alone. Meanwhile, Elias spotted Tom engaged in deep discussion with a few older Zelthari about farming techniques. Their animated voices intertwined in a landscape of ideas, concept maps, and plans. "Tom," Elias called, approaching. "What's happening over here?" "We're talking about a partnership in agriculture," Tom replied, his eyes gleaming. "They have innovative ways to enrich soil using crystals. I think we could implement several techniques back home if they're willing to share." "That's fantastic," Elias said, feeling a wave of excitement. "This gathering is leading to real connections. Are they open to collaborating?" Tom nodded vigorously. "Yes, they're just as eager to share their practices as we are to learn." As the sun rose higher, illuminating the gathering area in gold, laughter and conversation swirled together in a beautiful mix. The Zelthari and humans exchanged knowledge, traditions, and laughter, building bonds that seemed to strengthen with every moment. "I can't believe how well this is going," Sarah said, stepping back to take in the atmosphere. "Everyone seems genuinely excited." Elias arched his chin thoughtfully. "We can create a council that includes both our cultures. A place to share ideas, plan future gatherings, and address conflicts peacefully." "A council sounds great," Sarah added. "We can set the groundwork for something that lasts beyond this first gathering." The excitement climbed as they began discussing logistics, bringing new ideas into the conversation. Ideas began to blossom, transforming hesitant whispers into a coherent plan. As the day wound down, the sky darkened into a brilliant canvas of stars, mirroring the bond forged beneath them. "Look at that," Tom said, pointing upward. "It's as if the stars are celebrating our success." Elias glanced around at the smiling faces illuminated under the starlit sky. They had crossed barriers and found common ground, transforming fear into trust. "We've started something incredible, haven't we?" Elias said, feeling a new resolve gather among them. "Absolutely," Sarah said, gently squeezing his arm. "This could be the beginning of a new chapter for both of our worlds." With laughter still echoing in the night, they embraced the peace that surrounded them, knowing they stood at the brink of possibilities ignited by friendship and understanding. Together, they had set forth a path interwoven with new stories, and the unfolding journey was only beginning.